Have you ever been in this situation before? If so, don't worry because we all have. In fact, paddles are only getting hotter, which means our defense has to get better. By the end of this video, I will help you avoid the common mistakes that could be holding you back and give you a proven step-by-step process that will turn you into a defensive powerhouse. Let's get into it. All right, before we break it down step by step, let's take a look at the mindset that will actually help you win in these defensive situations. The first mindset tip is to stay focused on the goal. And the goal here is you're playing defense and you're looking to get back to a neutral point in the rally and ultimately back into offense. So for example, if you're pushed off of the kitchen line and you're digging the ball up, you're looking to get back to the kitchen, hit an unattackable shot, a shot that your opponent can't hit down on, and get back into the rally to where you can start hitting some more offensive shots. The second tip for your mindset is to always strive to make your opponent hit one more ball. Never give up, because you never know what could happen when you're getting the ball back over the net and forcing your opponent to hit one more shot. Never give up. The third mindset tip is that you have a defensive state of mind. And that means for the most part, you're not attacking the ball, you're not speeding it up, especially if you're getting balls at your feet. And that's for a few reasons. First reason is your opponents have the high ground. They have the most offensive spot in the whole court, and they can hit the ball more at your feet and at different angles, which make it harder for you to return it. The second reason is there's more distance when you're further off the kitchen line, so they can actually see when you telegraph a speed up, and they can see the ball, and they can actually counter that shot and make it more difficult for you to return it. So again, you're in a defensive state of mind. The whole goal is to get back to the kitchen, hit an unattackable shot that can neutralize the rally. Before we dive into the next tip, I've got a gift for you, and it's completely free and just a click away. Introducing the Path to Better Pickleball. This is a step-by-step path through 10 videos and a downloadable skills guide. This isn't just another tutorial, it's designed to improve your game in 30 days or less. Inside, you'll discover proven strategies that have already helped thousands of players dramatically improve their game. The best part is, it's free and it's easy to gain access. Just click the link in the description and you're in. The first mistake is not backing up. You've probably heard to never retreat from the kitchen line, never take a step off of that, but that's actually a myth. If you hit a pop-up that your opponent can hit an overhead on and attack that way, it's much better for you and actually much safer if you can take a few steps back and dig that ball up. Now, you want to be able to take those steps back safely, so don't backpedal, but just take a few steps. That way you have more time and better court positioning to get your paddle on that ball. Now remember, it's all relative to the game at hand, so if you can counter that ball and return it, by all means do that. But if the pop-up is high and attackable that way, remember to back up, give yourself some time, and dig that ball up. So let's take a look at what that looks like. We're going to look at this in slow motion really quick. This is actually a drill where you can simulate a pop-up and work on your footwork, giving some space between you and your opponent, and then returning the ball. The more space you create, the more time you have to react to the attack. Another thing to remember is to always hit the ball out front. It's much more difficult to return a ball that gets behind you. The second mistake, and this one is a killer, is not dropping your paddle. So let's say you do pop the ball up, your opponent gets the ball up here, and you see their paddle go up. You want to immediately drop your paddle down. That way you can actually dig that ball up. Because if your paddle's here, there's no way you're going to be able to dig that ball up and actually play defense. So remember, drop your paddle down whenever you see their paddle up. And what I often like to do is I prefer my backhand side because I can actually use my backhand in more locations and it actually feels a lot more comfortable than if I were using my forehand like this. It starts to get a little bit uncomfortable around here. Whereas if I were using my backhand, I can actually use my non-dominant hand as some support, and I can cover more space like that. And another tip here is to think about where your paddle is relative to where you are on the court, and use your paddle location as a way to determine if a ball is going out. So, for example, if you're at the baseline, your paddle should be down. That way you can actually dig up those balls and use your paddle as a way to determine if the ball is out. So if the ball is over your paddle, higher than your paddle, that means it's going out. And generally speaking, your paddle will come up the closer you are to the kitchen, and that can be a good determiner if the ball is going out, especially if the ball is over your paddle at the kitchen line. The third mistake is not absorbing the ball. When you're digging up balls and playing defense, there are a few things that you can actually do that will help you hit an unattackable shot. The first one is to have a loose grip. So when you're holding the paddle, you want to hold it in such a way that you can tap on the sides and it will actually move a little bit. So that's step one. The second step is to bend your knees. So let's say that you're digging up balls. If your knees are locked, there's no way that you can actually dig up balls and make it in such a way that you can get an unattackable shot. So you want to bend your knees, get your paddle down, have a loose grip. You can actually use your non-dominant hand to help. And the third part is to have compact swings. So you're actually going to be using your paddle more as a backboard and just maybe slightly push, but you're not going to be swinging at all. You're just going to be ready to dig up those balls. The fourth and final mistake is not getting back up to the kitchen. You don't want to get stuck in the transition zone. You want to make your way back up, and ultimately your goal, remember, is to get back to a neutral point in the rally. So don't get stuck, make your way back up, and get back to a neutral point and look to hit an unattackable shot. When you're making your way back up, yes, you do want to get back up quickly, but you also want to make sure it's the right shot at the right time. And one good way of doing this is reading your shot, reading for the ones that are bouncing in the kitchen, and looking for the ones that are unattackable. So when it bounces in the kitchen, take a few steps closer, and by doing this, you will actually put pressure on your opponents until you're all the way back to the kitchen line. So if you're looking to drill your defense and to work on it, Braden and I will show you a drill that you can use. It's called Beat the Feet. And the way it works is your drill partner, Braden, he's going to take a few steps in here in just a second. And it's a cooperative drill. So he's going to be hitting overheads at my feet. I'm going to be back in the transition zone, and I'm going to break it down into steps. And I'm just going to be working on maybe one component of my defense. So maybe, let's say I'll work on how I'm absorbing the ball, how I'm using my non-dominant hand, my grip pressure, and I'm going to be working on those piece by piece, getting quality touches and looking to hit an unattackable shot, and then eventually put it all together and play a game. If you're looking to gamify this, maybe try and get a few unattackable shots in a row, or maybe try and get a total of 10, but ultimately you want to focus on quality touches, break it down into components, that way you can work on it, and then put it all together at the end. So those are a few tips on how to improve your defense in pickleball. What do you think? What is your favorite tip on improving your defense? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video or learned something new, please remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss another update from High Five Pickleball. Thanks for watching.